to Deadlands Dime Novels, The Adventures of Young and Holt, Issue 18, Old Friends, New Trouble. I'm your narrator, Ernest Wick, intrepid reporter for the Tombstone Epitaph. In this issue, Young and Holt find themselves in the blink town of Ortonville, on their way to Fargo. Joshua hopes to find some help from an old friend for Porter's mission to rescue Regina. And Porter himself gets comfortable in the saloon, and Saul gets to know both members of our posse. And then, as always, something happens. Now, let's see where they're at.
Head up to the saloon.
All right. Walk in, same crowd as described to Porter's here. Porter is here. And he's playing solitaire.
Do the standard step in and kind of that slow, just taking in the crowd.
And you get looks back. You get look back from the loggers that are here. You get plenty of eye contact from the girls.
I'll kick your chair just a little bit as I'm walking up to the bar.
You're walking by and I'm shuffling out. Oh.
Can I get you, stranger? What you be having?
Something that'll take care of this dry throat and cool me down.
Can do that very quick. You strong or not as strong?
Strong.
All right. Puts a glass down in front of you. Grabs another bottle. It's straight from Kentucky.
It's a good start.
All right then. Tell you what. Why don't you be putting the? Why don't you just put the coins down? And I'll just leave the bottle right here.
Throw a couple bills on the table.
That'll work too.
Howdy.
Do you look at him?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I look at him. He's obviously not a logger.
And just to give you a description of my character, hat, glasses on, vest, pocket watch chain, duster, and 4 shooting irons.
4?
Yeah.
All on the hip?
No, we got 2 on the hip.
Uh-huh.
One's basically a bulge in the back, and
right.
one like right center mass in the front.
All right.
Why don't you describe yourself, actually? I know you did a little bit with the duster and the gold cross, but is there anything else?
Yeah. Well, just about average build, about 6 feet tall. Brown hair, blue eyes, really kind of a rugged features. Doesn't look like he shaves all that often, maybe every few days, kind of as a formality. Also wearing the Stetson, the duster, pretty much all covered in trail dust. Has a token effort to wash it off every once in a while, but doesn't seem to be all that interested in presenting himself.
And as you make eye contact with him, Saul, make me a smarts check. Smarts, anyone on that?
4.
4. You recognize this man from your past. You do not remember his name, but you do recognize him.
So what brings you up to wherever the hell we are?
Well, it ain't big enough to be a town, now is it? Man, cut some trees down and call it a town, I guess. Traveling up, heading up the way to Fargo.
Look back at Porter back there, and it seems like an awful lot of people coming into town who ain't loggers.
Yep. We're actually riding together, believe it or not.
I look over at him and I'm like, and clearly you see on the face of the expression is not.
Yep, he's a little green still, but he's getting broke in good.
You ever play cards with him?
Yeah,
You ever win?
occasionally.
Alright.
Even when I lose, I win.
Oh? How's that work?
It's a nice little partnership.
Uh-huh. So what are you up to going up to Fargo for?
Well,
It's a long trip for a fella like you and a fella like him.
it's a long trip for me. Youngin' like him, it's not so long. He's spry. No, he's on a personal vendetta, if you will, trying to rescue a comrade that's gotten themselves in a tight situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's Something I think many of us can sympathize with.
So what brings you here?
Well, it's like you say. Some folks got they got their own little adventures, their own little quests.
Yep. I kind of like to say that I'm a character in Porter's story. Mm-hmm. He's writing his story right now.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, I just pulled out a journal as you say that.
Just do a smash cut right now. Well, I got a fellow up in Fargo. Thought about giving him a visit.
Yeah? Well, we're on a little bit of a time crunch, so we'll probably be heading that way shortly. Maybe spend the night, head that way. Mm-hmm. Is that too soon for you to head out? I mean, more than welcome to share the trail with us. Safety in numbers.
Speaking of sharing, the girl kind of saddles up next to you, Joshua. Hi. I just came over to introduce myself. My name is Janine.
Janine.
Yes. How are you, stranger? Besides thirsty.
Old.
That's okay.
I take my bottle and I reach across him to put the bottle in front of her, and then sit back and totally just take my attention off of her and back onto him.
Oh, Saul, that's mighty kind of you. I really appreciate that.
So what kind of person gets themselves in trouble up in Fargo such that a fellow like him needs to go bail him out?
Well, there's something about stories that is in every one of them. There's always a girl.
Mm-hmm. Those are my favorite kind of stories. Go on. Would you like to have a girl in your story, mister?
Oh.
I mean, the good reverend here already gave me a bottle.
I've got a girl in my story already that sends shivers up my spine when I think about her.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
I know those kind. Now, Saul, you don't have to go give me a look like that. I'm just talking to him. You're talking to him. All right.
There's always a girl.
That's your side.
And the girls always, I'll look at the saloon girl, always get the guys in trouble.
Now, did I come over here acting like I was trying to get you in trouble? I am here just trying to talk to you right now. There's
How they get you in trouble?
There's not going to be any trouble. Do I look? Look at me. There's no way I could cause physical trouble to a man like you. I think there's only a few physical things I probably could cause to you there, good sir. But
I'll take my glasses off and start like cleaning them on my my vest. Just shake my head.
Well, I could tell by the way that you're shaking your head at me, and by the way Saul's over-exaggerated sigh. I would leave the two of you so that you can have your fun together, I guess.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Sorry.
Janine. She
Janine.
bats her eyelashes and leans a little closer. Oh, are we changing our minds?
Does this establishment have hot water for baths?
No, sir. Unfortunately, it does not. There is a place where you can get baths, but it is a cold water bath.
Well,
They just use the river water.
does look like we have to part ways then. Sorry.
Are you trying to say that you need to take a bath?
Yeah?
Do you need someone to wash your back?
Well, you said that you didn't offer that.
Maybe that was one of the physical things that I would not be willing to reconsider.
Janine, do you own a scrub brush?
Sir, I do not own a scrub brush, but I have hands that can clean you well.
You know, I kind of like a hard scrub brush.
Oh, well, in that case, you probably want Betty. All right. Point taken.
Sorry.
No, it's
Janine.
Janine, yes. Yes, all right. That's just fine. Saul, have a good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
She grabs a bottle as she goes away, since you put it in front of her.
Oh, shit.
I was going to take it back.
She walks off all sassy like.
Always getting us in trouble.
I think she won that conversation.
Yeah, coming up.
Plops the other one down in front.
So, your friend over there has himself a girl in trouble,
Yep.
and you're going to Fargo to get it sorted out.
Classic tale, like in those general store novels.
Mm-hmm.
Princess in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I reckon he fancies him some kind of knight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose we're there to make sure he doesn't get himself killed.
Yeah. Of course, the trouble's kind of the fun.
Not sure whether I want to agree with that or not, but you know, I think I might. What's this business up in Fargo got to do with me?
Well, you said you were heading that way. Friends on the trail. However, can always use a little extra hand helping out. Somebody that is experienced with a gun.
And I'm wearing mine, by the way, just got one on the hip.
I'll turn around and kind of lean back on the bar while I
Yeah.
am taking another drink and kick the duster back and stick my hand over without looking. And it's like, it's been a while, Saul.
Now make me another smart. When he says it, make me another smarts roll.
Nice.
Now you recognize him. Now you remember him. You remember, yeah, Joshua Young. That was his name. It just kind of dawns on you.
Joshua Young.
In the flesh.
Well, you weren't the fellow I was going up to Fargo to meet, nor the fellow I came out here to meet. But I suppose God's put you in my way for one reason or another.
Well, that sounds downright ominous. Scott, your rock gut kind of goes right through me. Is it out back?
It's out back. But go a little further.
These old bones don't like to go that far.
But I don't want you to be pissing out right outside my door.
Alright, fine. Pardon me?
He gets up. I'm going to get up and have a nice seat across from Porter. Take my bottle with me. Let's go and sit down across from the table.
Evening. I'm looking a little cautiously as Joshua walks away.
Goes away.
You know, most times a fella pulls a card out of his pocket. He's looking to take something, not give it.
I would never do such a thing.
No, surely you wouldn't.
Not once.
Not once, not ever.
Not ever. This is one time I got accused, but it was just a friendly game.
Tell me about that time.
Well, he swore I drew not from the top of the deck. And I definitely drew from the top of the deck.
Absolutely you did.
But he was seeing things, and he insisted that I drew from the center of the deck. But
Absolutely you didn't.
no, not once. Welcome back, Joshua. This gentleman suggested that I might be cheating.
I would never suggest such a thing.
Well, it's not me to get involved with disputes like that. If you were, you were. If you weren't, you weren't.
So tell me about this girl.
Well, her name was Veronica. She wanted lunch.
No,
So-
the other girl.
Can I have a chip for that?
What other girl are you talking about? I'm still just like glancing at Joshua all the time.
You and your friend Joshua here, going up to Fargo.
That's right.
Because you got a lady friend up there.
Oh,
That girl.
oh. Should we be talking about this here?
Yeah, you can talk. Saul's an old friend.
Old friend.
We go way back.
Oh. I mean, to lean to see if he's got a gun on it.
Oh, I definitely got a gun. Not even trying to hide it.
You mean Regina?
Regina.
Yes. Well, she was caught
Caught.
stealing from the train?
Caught stealing from the Iron Dragon Railroad.
That's
yep.
right. I didn't say what she was stealing, but pretty sure it's true. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. And I would like for her not to die, to be hanged.
So what you're telling me
Yes.
is that this lady friend of yours
Yes.
robbed a train,
Yes.
got caught. Mm-hmm. Now she's in the clink.
Yeah.
They're gonna hang her
That's correct.
because she's a train thief.
Yes.
And you're going to Fargo so you can make sure that she don't get hanged.
That is correct.
By what means did you hope to accomplish this?
At that point, Pete comes limping into the saloon. And he sees Old Home Week here sitting at the gathered table. He comes walking over. But you can please continue.
Oh. I don't see him because I, of course, took the seat with my back to the door.
And then the one time Doc Holliday did that, he died.
Oh, you asked how I was intending to do
Yes.
that. I was leaving the planning up to him.
You leave the planet up to him, son. And Pete comes and sits down. That's your first mistake. And he gives you kind of a slap on the back. My goodness, Reverend. Mm-hmm. Joshua, this must be the pup you were telling me about.
Yep.
Pleasure to meet you,
pup?
son. Pete the Stump. And he kind of holds up his right leg.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, get a good look. It's all right. You wouldn't be
Sorry.
the first. It's okay. You should have seen the other guy. Anyway, I don't mean to interrupt. He was planning something, you were saying.
Oh, I hope he is, because this is
Oh,
not
he's
my
always got something planned.
this is not my area of expertise. As he's doing this, I'm pulling out the bottle and dishing myself up 2 spoonfuls of the
What's that stuff you're taking there?
It is Dr. Stanley's snake oil.
What the hell is that supposed to do?
I am in a lot of pain, and this helps it a lot. A lot.
I see. Mind? You mind?
Alright, sure. It's not very good.
No, it smells awful.
It tastes worse.
Are you taking this stuff? I mean, I'm sure you got plenty of aches and pains.
This is my medicine right here.
Yeah. Oh, I see that you and Saul go to the same doctor then. How much are you supposed to take?
2 spoonfuls 3 times a day? Sure, I guess.
He goes, he takes one pull, and he just he spits it out of the side. Oh! You're putting this down?
Yeah.
And you're keeping it down?
Yeah. I've had worse.
I'll look at Stump and go, smooth but sharp.
All right. Fair enough.
This is going to be a tagline, isn't it?
That alone, I guess, earns you a couple of points of respect in my book. That stuff is awful. I got your list, sir. Now, I can vouch for 2 of the names on there. The other one I've just heard things about.
Reckon that'll do.
Excellent.
Pity you won't be joining us.
I got, kind of looks over at Saul. I got things to do.
Responsibilities.
I'm a responsible man. I got a logging camp to run. Those jackholes wouldn't be able to get a thing done if I wasn't there telling them what to do.
I'm giving you a very significant look right now.
Right hand to your new boss. That's truth. Well, I don't mean to interrupt this, whatever it is that you all are doing. I just came to drop by. Something for Joshua. Porter, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Saul, Reverend.
That's good enough for me.
All right, huh? I guess that's going to be good enough for me as well. Thanks again for the whiskey.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Stump.
Anytime. As he's leaving, he gets out the door and somebody else comes running in. You can easily tell he's Chinese. And he has a very panicked look on his face. and he runs up to Scott, and he starts speaking in very, very rapid Chinese to Scott. And Scott has to like get a hold of him, and you can tell it looks like he's either sweating or he's crying or something. Clearly is put a lot of wet on his face. And Scott gets a hold of him. Gee, you just got English, gee. He takes a few heavy breaths and he says, and he points out in some direction, camp, bodies, not together. What do you mean not together? He says dead, bodies, the dead, not all together. He looks over at the three of you briefly, and then he looks over at the loggers. Gee, just take a breath. Puts a shot in front of him. Take a shot. Calm down. G takes a shot. He says, what happened? And then G says, I don't know. Just found the bodies near our camp. Not all together. Just some legs, some arms. Heard things in woods. I don't know. All right. Just sit here. He looks at you three. Look, gentlemen, I don't mean to intrude on your evenings here, but there's a meal in it for all of you on the house. If you just come on out and take a look. There's no law out here, and I could go ask Pete, and then Pete would come, but you seem a bit more sure-footed than he does. And I don't think you've been drinking enough. I think you're still standing, eh? Mm-hmm. Do you mind?
You up for it?
Push myself back from the table and stand up.
Do you have rooms here?
I don't, but I tell you what. If we can figure out whatever it is that G's talking about, I'll let you sleep inside instead of out tonight when I close down.
Deal.
That goes for you too.
Take that deal.
All right. Let me just grab my shotgun. Which he does. Veronica, you got the run of the place. You know what to do. Oh yeah, don't worry, I got it.
Veronica?
Porter, you be careful. When I come back, I want to beat you another hand of cards.
Tuck the duster in behind my saddle.
Okay.
Is it a long distance?
It's not far.
Well, I'll just walk.
Yeah.
I don't have a horse, so I'll walk.
All right.
I was just leaving the duster here.
As you're walking out there, Scott kind of explains. He says, "We got a camp of Chinese that came through. They probably came back, probably joined the town a couple of months ago. They've been kind of setting up their own stuff. They doing the laundry like a lot of the Chinese do, you know, and open up a business. And they sometimes will they'll do a little competition." He points back to the wagons with the dry goods over there. You know, just kind of basically starting their own business. I think they're associated with the Iron Dragon, but I'm not sure. G, he speaks English the best of them. But they have kept to themselves, no trouble. So whatever it is that he's talking about, this seems a little concerning, if I must say so myself. Oh, and G is obviously coming with him, and he's walking up ahead, taking you back to the camp. You get to the camp, and it's an organized assemblage of probably about a dozen to 15 tents, and they've set up camp in such a way that all of the tents are facing each other, and there's kind of like a central street, I guess, walkway that goes down there, and there's a couple of pits where they have fires in there, and it looks like they have begun construction of some sort of building out here, but it's probably maybe a good 300 feet, 500 feet outside of town, so it's not too far. And as you come in there, there is a panicked, kind of sad, sobbing group of them over in like one of the corners, and G says, here. He brings you in, and he starts speaking Chinese to the group and pointing back to the lot of you, and then he turns and he points out into the woods, because they're kind of on the edge of the forest that's here. He says they were out walking to find mushrooms, roots, and then found bodies. They got me, I found bodies. I'll take you to bodies.
You don't.
So you go walking out there, and sure enough, you come out in the woods, and you come across...
Still daylight?
It is still daylight out. There's probably maybe about an hour before sunset.
All right.
He kind of winds the way through the woods. It looks like there's a little bit of a trail, so they must obviously go this route every once in a while. And sure enough, you come across an area where there appears to be, looks like you see one leg, looks like it's been removed right at the hip. There is a upper portion of a torso that's also there.
With or without the head?
Without. There is a kind of a broken arm bent back the way it shouldn't be in another part of the area. And then you find a pair of trousers. And inside those trousers is another pair of legs, but these ones, the feet have been snapped in a direction they also should not be pointing. And he kind of points towards it, and you all get to make me a guts check at a -1. And now you still got wounds, right, Porter, but no fatigue?
No fatigue.
Okay.
6.
6. You're fine. 4, you're good.
Got a 7.
Got a 7. You're all fine. It's gruesome, to say the least.
It's not as gruesome as what I saw earlier.
No, actually, it's not. But yeah, you find that there, and there's blood, and you have tracking, I believe, right?
I do have tracking.
You can absolutely make me a tracking roll.
6.
6?
Yep.
You can see where the blood kind of goes, and it kind of trails in a direction a little bit deeper into the woods briefly, but then you can tell at that point the blood kind of stops, but there is a trail, but it is a bizarre trail. It appears as if there's definitely some feet, they're bare feet, they're walking, but it's an odd number. So it's and you're not sure if did somebody step in somebody else's prints. It's an odd number of footprints with enough consistency that makes you think, no, that can't be it. So there's something else afoot, so to speak, going on.
I have the shotgun opened in one hand, and I'm rolling the cards in one with my other hand, just kind of shuffling them.
All right.
Not lazily, but nervously would be better.
Do you not keep your shotgun loaded?
It's loaded, but
No, he
it's
normally
open.
has it unloaded.
Yeah. Yeah.
He bravely unloads his shotgun
That's
in the
right.
face of danger.
It's gun safety.
It is gun safety.
It is very much gun safety.
I'm more afraid I'm going to shoot myself. Let's be honest.
So what do you think, Saul? See anything like this before?
I'm gonna go over to one of the body parts and kind of squat down, kind of take a look at it. How does it look like the wounds were made? Is it a clean cut, or is it ragged and torn?
It appears ragged and torn, as if it was physically rended from whatever it was attached to, most likely a person.
Is there any way to tell, like, just looking at it, like the ethnicity, were these some of the Chinese migrants?
It appears that all of these body parts are Chinese in origin.
Don't look at me. I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Oh, I thought you were playing with your cards. I'm sorry.
Well, I am.
Well, I don't know about these specifically, but there are things out there that can do things like this.
Yep.
I am going to. Is there a head?
There are no heads. There's the closest thing you've got is the torso,
I
It has no head.
which has no head.
am going to get close to a torso,
All right.
sort of fan out the cards,
Okay.
and touch it,
All right.
and use hunch.
Okay. You can make a deal, or you can use PowerPoints.
Making a deal.
All right.
Was there a physical, visible manifestation of this?
There should be some. There is going to be some sort of manifestation, even if it's an odd-looking heat shimmer type of effect. There's going to be some sort of appearance.
And for this one, it's just I am to steal a hand of cards from an actual deck and study them.
Okay.
So
All right. Make a knowledge religion. You can go ahead and make a knowledge occult. 4. Okay. 11.
let's avoid the Joker.
Oh, you got a joker? You want to come on? Spend the joker. Spend the joker.
I
Spend the
don't
joker.
need it.
You have to spend it. You got it.
I got 2 pair. I'm not. It's not spending the. Last
Spend
time I did
the
that,
Joker.
that went really well.
Spend the joker.
Okay.
Can you use a plot twist card to force you to spin the joker? Okay, so you got an 11. You've heard a story. This is not something that you've encountered.
Now, it's not the one about the three-legged bear.
It is not the one about the three-legged bear. But it is a story about the five-legged man. You see these tracks going around, and it calls to mind this poem that you remember, this nursery rhyme that you remember about a creature.
A nursery rhyme?
Yes.
Childhood lessons.
Childhood lessons, yes. And this was a childhood lesson that terrified you as a child.
Beware the five-legged man. He eats whoever he can. He doesn't come from heaven, and once legs of 7, 'twill fold you in his horrid little band.
All right, so Joshua will, as you're fiddling with
Yes.
cards and you're studying all this, he'll be like looking at the body parts and kind of looking around, and he'll start kind of under his breath at first rhyming this, and then out loud, beware the five-legged man. He eats whomever he can. He doesn't come from heaven and wants legs of 7. 'Twill fold you in his horrid little band.
Are you giving me a chip for that one? Is that... I'll take it. So Joshua's kind of he starts spouting that
Get that distant look in my eyes. I'm doing it too.
All right. And you're casting Hunch
The full house.
and
the
your Joker. It is a D20.
8. What?
8.
I actually don't know which is worse.
This is better than what you got last time.
Well, last time couldn't have been much worse.
Actually, it could have been.
Well, there you go.
Backlash. The Manitou overloads the huckster's nervous system with eldritch energy, and you suffer 3d6 damage.
This is the same. That's the same thing I rolled for the. Oh no, that was overwhelmed with power.
Yeah.
This was bad. This
Yeah.
is bad. So how much?
3d6.
3d6, we're going to find out.
You're gonna have to soak some of this.
What is your toughness?
There's a 1 there.
There's a 1 there. There was also a 6 there.
No. Well, my toughness is 6.
6. Okay, you have 2 wounds coming at you.
Oh, can I soak one?
You absolutely can soak one. Make that vigor roll. You spin the Benny and make the vigor roll. You gonna add a d6 to that, or
Yeah.
Or does this have a visible effect? Aside from him like screaming and flailing.
This might.
this might?
Oh, I was just adding a d6. That was not a d6 I rolled. So, oh my god. I got a 4.
All right, so you got rid of one of them.
Yeah.
So you take a wound. All right.
Puts me back in
I
minus
mean,
3.
you're also shaken.
Well, yeah, you'd be shaken, temporarily,
Okay.
for a round, essentially. So, yeah, you've laid out your cards in front of you as you're touching the body. Are the cards on the body, or are they on?
No, they would. I would actually keep them in my hand. I
Okay.
would set the deck to the side and draw the cards into my hand.
All right. So you put your hand on the body. Basically, what you see as you do this, a group of individuals, sure enough, in the woods, and it looks they're scrounging in the dirt, or taking some mushrooms off of a tree, gathering some moss. And then there is a sound that distracts them, and they look to the right, and then you can see the eyes, they turn to the left, and then suddenly the vision turns, kind of blurs quickly, and then you see a body get grabbed and just get bent in half, just quickly, like snapped in half. And it happened, you didn't see what did it because he was standing like by a tree, and so all of a sudden he like just kind of folds together, feet off the ground, folds together, and then gets yanked behind the tree, and then everything kind of wipes, and the last thing that you see is a number of arms, about 3 arms reaching out towards you. Everything goes black. Then in the real world, and you notice this, you're busy spouting off your poem, so you don't notice this. His body kind of... Have you ever seen any kind of scary movie of late when the big bad kind of moves with that jerky motion kind of thing, that scattered movement? His body kind of does that. It jerks in this manner, and it like kind of convulses back, holds that pose briefly, and his hand appears shaking, and then his body just slams right into the torso as he just face plants right into the torso, and there's kind of as a bunch of blood and stuff goes squirting out the neck hole, and then it snaps back up again, and it slams down one more time, and then his body goes slack at that point, and then that's when you don't even realize that it happened. You wake up, or your vision snaps back, and your cheeks, your face is laying on this this chest.
I'm gonna walk over to him, this stone faced, grab him by the shoulder, roll him onto his back, crouch down next to Porter, put my hand on his shoulder. Says, son, I know you've got good intentions, but dealing with these dark powers can only cause this to happen to you. Lord, forgive this idiot.
What?
And I am going to try to use healing.
Okay.
Or go on in.
All right.
Well, I got a 7 there, so 6. So I
There you
heal.
go.
Alright, so the wound you just took is healed.
Most of the damage was me slamming my face onto the...
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess then my nose straightens out.
Any bloody nose or anything like that?
Yeah, the blood
Stops
just kind of
bleeding.
instantly dries, and
I don't taste the blood in my mouth
Pulled
anymore.
muscles from.
And I just pat your shoulder and
just kind
go,
of loosen back up. Nice.
think a little bit more carefully next time, son.
What?
And then I just walk away and leave him there.
I'm laying on my back. Just like, I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, you don't. You're just.
Beware of the 5-legged man. He eats whomever he can. He doesn't come from heaven and wants legs of 7 to enfold you in his horrid little band.
That would go great right as I wake up, and that's one of the first things I hear.
I actually already rolled a smarts roll for this, and I got an 8, so I'm gonna say it worked. You hum that, and I'm looking around at these disassembled body parts. I'm thinking legs of 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start counting up the body parts and trying to piece them to people and see
What's missing?
what's missing.
Did you say fold?
Yes.
I think that happened.
Folded?
Folded. Like...
You think this has anything to do with those 3 bodies we came across?
You fellas come across many bodies in your time? Well, I don't even know why I'm asking you.
You say that, I look to Joshua immediately.
As soon as it's out of my mouth, I realize it's like, oh, I know what I just said.
We both smirk, and you're just like, yeah.
I'm gonna have to follow you, if only to make sure you don't go nuts on somebody.
Oh,
All right, I'll follow you to Dodge and keep you out of trouble.
Oof, I got a headache.
On our way to where in the hell we are. As you so
Ortonville.
aptly put, Ortonville.
You say wherever the hell we are. I pointed Ortonville, just laying back, Ortonville.
We came across 3 bodies out on our way. And they were contorted all up and broken.
Any pieces missing?
Not that we could tell. There was a head there on that one, though.
More than one.
Yep, all 3 of them. Of course, that might have been your girlfriend.
No. Well, the 3 body. This is not. This is something else.
Now hold on just a damn second here.
What do you know about Sioux tribal legends?
About Sue what?
Tribal legends.
Not a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, well, let's just say some of them legends are true.
No, and that's not surprising.
Yeah. Porter here had the fortune to win the interests of a Sioux
Tribal legend.
poison woman. When we're back in pseudo-civilization with a stiff drink, I'll have to tell you a story.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna take you up on that. That might give me another target / goal. So you weren't here to see it, but he was humming the song. I did a smarts roll to see if I could figure anything out from it. I rolled an 8, so I assume I
actually
figured
good.
something. So I started looking at the body parts and seeing if I could piece together the parts to see if there were any that were missing from the bodies that were there.
All right, because you roll an 8, you have an epiphany. And the first thing you realize is that these parts are not from the same person. Mm-hmm. Then the poem and that whole that thing gets your brain working, and you recall a story another preacher told you when you got set on your path, when you were discussing one night over drinks about all things dark and dangerous, about a creature of some sorts that makes itself from the parts of others, and it doesn't absorb them as much as it takes parts of them to
stitch itself up,
to make itself up, and to put it into some sort of unholy conglomeration of death. As you are putting these pieces together, and
metaphorically,
I keep making body part puns, and I don't even mean to, but I'll take it. You hear in the distance from where you're at, you hear a scream, a man's scream, and
from the direction of the camp.
it's coming. Yeah, it's from the direction of the Chinese camp. And then you hear a gunshot, and then silence.
What do you know? Somebody's playing our song.
Pull myself up.
I'll grab you by the wrist and just haul you up, and then take off in that direction.
I'm stumbling afterwards.
You are stumbling a little bit because it has just gotten to be twilight.
Looks like trouble continues to follow around Young and Holt like a black cloud. Find out who the owner of that scream is plus the truth behind Joshua's creepy fairy tale in our next issue, The Five-Legged Man. The part of Joshua Young is played by Brent Rich. Porter Holt is played by Brad Smith. Saul Dearborn is played by Matt Blackie, and your intrepid marshal is played by Chris Hussey. Deadlands and Savage Worlds are the property of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. You can learn more about their great games at their website, peginc.com. And of course, thanks always to our friends at Fear the Boot. Support their Patreon at patreon.com/feartheboot. Intro music provided by Zitron Sound. Other music by Benedict Edwards. The Five-Legged Man accompaniment provided by Gunslinger Andy. Some sound effects by Plate Mail Games. Hear what they have to offer at platemailgames.com. Contact information for the cast and information about the music in this issue, and to see a nice piece of fan art of Porter Holt can be found in the notes on our website, ap.feartheboot.com. If you enjoy these issues, please consider dispensing a lovely 5-star review on wherever it is that you do listen from. It's kindly appreciated. I'm Ernest Wick for the Tombstone Epitaph. And remember, it's best to make friends before you need them.
Beware the five-legged man. He eats whoever he can. He doesn't come from heaven, and once legs of 7 'twill fold you in his horn.